Hey y'all, it's Paula Edgar and welcome back to Branding Room Only. Today's re-release is especially meaningful because as the National Bar Association celebrates its 100th year centennial celebration, I am honoring that legacy by revisiting a conversation with one of its incredible past presidents, Lonita K. Baker. If you don't already know Lonita, get ready. She is a force, an attorney, advocate, educator, and now managing partner at the Baker Westbrook Louisville office and a professor of practice at the University of Louisville Brandeis School of Law. Lonita gained national attention for her work representing the family of Breonna Taylor, and that case continues to shape the conversation about justice, accountability, and reform. And with recent developments in the federal case, this re-release feels particularly timely. Lonita's leadership, whether in the community, in the courtroom, or in the classroom, has always been about purpose and integrity. And in this episode, you'll hear her talk about how personal values, public service, and professional growth all show up in her brand. This is part of how we honor the National Bar Association Centennial by lifting up voices like hers. Let's revisit our conversation. Welcome to the Branding Room Only podcast, where we share career stories, strategies, and lessons learned on how industry leaders and influencers have built their personal brands. Now, let's get started with the show. Hi, everyone. It's Paula Edgar, your host of Branding Room Only podcast, and I'm excited today to be here with someone who I've known for a while, Lonita Baker. Let me tell you a little bit about Lonita K. Baker. She serves as an associate corporate counsel for Waystar Medical Technologies, and she is the current president of the National Bar Association. As you know, at Branding Room Only, we talk to people about their brands, their experiences, how they built them, and sort of their perceptions around the concept of personal branding. And so I'm excited about having this conversation. Lonita, welcome to Branding Room Only.
Thank you for having me, Paula. I am excited to be here.
Of course. So welcome to the club. And so the first assignment that you have is to tell me, as we think about branding, your elevator pitch is something that, when you're meeting someone, you kind of say, this is who I am, this is how I add value, or whatever mix of what you decide to say. So what's an example of an elevator pitch that you might use when you're meeting someone?
So first off, I hate elevator speeches because I am as fun as I think I'm a fun person, but I am an introvert so I typically wait for people to ask questions, but I also know that you do have to have an elevator pitch ready. So my name is Lonita Baker. I am an attorney from Louisville, Kentucky. Yes, born and raised in Louisville, which is different from Kentucky. I'm a lifelong learner, which is why I've practiced probably every aspect of law that there is.
I love that lifelong learner, which may end up being how you describe yourself, because I'm going to ask you this question. Can you describe yourself in 3 words or phrases?
I will give you lifelong learner, fun, and my new favorite word that I've learned in the last month is I'm an ambivert, which means I am an outgoing introvert.
I would say that is true. Just knowing you, that is a wonderful way of describing you, or an extroverted introvert, which is a similar way. Okay. So on Branding Room Only, we talk about personal brands. And so I want to hear from you. When you think of the concept of personal brand, what comes to mind? How would you define it?
I think that how I've arrived to the place that I am today is because I'm always willing to help others. And I think that other people see that in me. And so if you're willing to help others, others will help you. It's not to say that you do things not like with the motivation that, if I help them, they're going to help me. But is the world truly altruistic? I don't know. I don't think there's anything that you should do that doesn't somehow grow you as a person, if that makes sense.
It does. That makes 100% sense. And, I think that people, when they think about branding and networking and really sort of any of the stuff that requires effort, they think of it as sometimes transactional. And my thought is that it should be in some ways transactional, because you should be getting something from it, whether that is to just feel better or to feel right. But It doesn't have to be transactional in a very sort of creepy or right or like yucky way, but it can be transactional in that if you're giving, you should get, whether that's fulfillment or on the other side of the scale, be paid. Like right, like let's call a thing a thing. Okay, awesome. So, what is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote is, I told you I'm Louisville through and through. So it is from Muhammad Ali, and it is, service to others is the rent we pay for our place here on earth.
Love that. Wait a minute. And maybe this is my ignorance. Is Muhammad Ali from Louisville, Kentucky?
Yes. like the greatest, the GOAT, Muhammad Ali, Louisville through and through.
When you think about branding, think about Louisville, and I immediately think about horse racing. And maybe that's just because I love horse racing. But I just learned something because I did not know that. I had no idea. So okay. Who knew? Okay, so what
everyone from Louisville knows.
Fair enough. So people,
but I think because in the movie they don't show him in Louisville, they don't show him much in Louisville, but he is very much Louisville through and through up until his passing. He's buried in Louisville. His wife, she spends a lot of time in Arizona, or his widow, she spends a lot of time in Arizona for tax purposes and because she has a residence there, but she spends maybe 48% of the time here in Louisville.
Very interesting. Had no idea. So, well, before I even get to the next question, I have another question. So what else would you say, speaking of branding, that Louisville is known for then?
Definitely the Kentucky Derby. You talked about horse racing, and Kentucky itself is known for bourbon. Yes, if it's not, and I know New York likes to think y'all have some bourbons, but if it's not made in Kentucky, it's not bourbon.
Is that right? Like Champagne has to be from Champagne. Okay, interesting. Yep. Okay,
bourbon. So and whiskey's Tennessee. Right. But nobody, it's bourbon. We want bourbon. University of Louisville. So Teddy Bridgewater is, he played for our university, and not only Teddy Bridgewater, but Lamar Jackson. Okay. Yep. Okay. We don't have any professional sports teams, but in New York, Allen Houston, we went to the same high school. We took French class. Our French teacher used to let us sign our name on the wall when we were graduating. So I signed mine right up under his because I'm like, it's Allen Houston. So we don't have professional sports teams. So we are a really big college sports town. And in the state of Kentucky, we're college sports. University of Louisville, University of Kentucky. I'm a Louisville Cardinal, not Kentucky.
I love the way you say it because I'm like, it's not Louisville. but I have
that's the other thing Louisville's known for is everyone, I was like, am I pronouncing it right? So people know that there's a way
Louisville
here pronounce it. It's almost I say it's 1.5 syllables.
I'm glad I asked because I'm also a lifelong learner and I just learned something. Okay, so and maybe there's a connection here, or maybe not, but what is your hype song? And let me just tell you a little bit background about hype songs. Your hype song can be a song that will pump you up when you're about to go do something, or if you need to feel lifted up, you play it. So what would you say is your hype song?
You said, and I feel if I need to feel lifted up. So I am a 90s, I came of age in the 90s. So 90s hip hop, No Limit Records. If you play it and I'm in the club, I'm gonna dance as if I'm in the 90s again and I'm in high school. So just disregard that, because especially like an NBA, you and I, we will dance at NBA functions. So now that I'm president, I'm still gonna dance. And if they play a 90s song, I'm still gonna be out there like I'm in high school again. But then so that's might get crunk, but like sometimes just to lift me up, I have a gospel playlist, and I will tell you anything CeCe Winans or Yolanda Adams, because they just their voices are so anointed. Agreed
with you. And I have my song in general is always Prince, Baby I'm a Star. And so I'm super excited about that. The NBA convention is going to be in Minneapolis because everybody who knows me knows that I'm a Prince fan. And
but I also have a gospel song to do the lift me up just in case. But no, generally across the board, if I play Baby I'm a Star, my body knows it needs to react and respond.
And I love Prince. Like, you were one of the first people that got my hashtag. Other people were like, oh, I'm like, Purple Rain.
And the hashtag is Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Spelled REIGN. I was like, yes, Lonita, this is fantastic. So let's just talk about that. So you are the president of the National Bar Association, which is the umbrella organization of all of the Black bar associations within the United States and Canada and another region as well.
We have Africa.
And Africa, right, in Africa. And so that is a huge endeavor. And what I love about your trajectory, and you sort of mentioned it, is that you have always, in the time that I've known you, and so before that, been in a space of being a helper. And so I've seen your trajectory throughout the National Bar Association in that way. And I'm happy to see your leadership, your ascending to the top leadership. But tell me about what that's meant for you, and particularly in terms of shifting your brand and, becoming a leader in the National Bar Association.
Yeah. I think for me, in terms of helping, I am lucky in that the people that I help, past President Ben Crump, past President Joe Drayton, the people that I worked significantly on their administrations, they saw in me something that I may not have even saw in myself. So I was ready to be chief of staff and roll out like you did, Paula, like, because we were both presidents of our local affiliates. Yeah. And at some point it's like, when do I focus on my career again, right? But I saw that the NBA still needed me. And I say that they saw something in me in that once as women, sometimes we think we are just supposed to help and make people look good. And that's been the role for so many years. And so now I like that I'm here and I'm president, I feel like I'm doing I have embraced I'm supposed to be here. And so many times, and we hear from Black women that we don't acknowledge or accept that we deserve to be at the top just as much as others. And so I'm embracing it. I will tell you the part, the outgoing, extroverted, introvert, I am loving meeting new people and like really getting to know them, the type of person that I am. And one thing I always tell, you've been around, how many times have you seen where the president is almost unapproachable? No one wants to be a part of that.
Right.
But how are we going to recruit new members if the leaders are unapproachable? Like, why would they want to be a part of us? But really getting to travel and get to meet and get to know other lawyers and encourage them to become members of the National Bar Association. And then the icing on the top is when I see them later and there's like, I paid my dues solely because of the conversation I had with you. And so I get that people get like I'm a genuine person. So, but yeah, from helping to embracing the badass that I am.
Oh, I love that. And, I used to push back on the concept of servant leader because I feel like it means to most people that you have to essentially kill yourself in order to lead. And I'm like, no, not quite. And so to that point about the transactional piece, as well as the sort of what you get from what you do, number one, I consider you to be a servant leader not in the bad way, but in the way that you are authentic and you are bringing people in, and it's not like you're leading from over there, you're leading with and among the people. But also, to your point about the when do we do the work, I do think that, when you do leadership right, it should benefit the actual thing that you do as well. And I recall when I was president of my local affiliate that someone pushed back on the fact that I would talk about what I do and my role as well. And it was like, no, you have to separate them. I was like, absolutely not, because I can't separate myself. And I bring to you what I do and the role that I'm in. Yeah. So, you are, working at Waystar Medical Technologies. Tell me how that is in sort of doing the work, which is a shift for you. Yeah. As well as, managing your leadership at the same time.
Yeah. So when I shifted to Waystar and going in-house, it was on the heels of representing the family of Breonna Taylor. And when I say like that is the penultimate of my career, like my proudest moment, the case that I know I will forever be tied to, and I'm proud of that. But when I say as a Black woman and representing the family of a Black woman who suffered such injustice, it took something like so much out of me emotionally. And so as lawyers, we know the Bar Association, not the National Bar Association, but our bar, like our licensing agencies, they like preached to you to like your client is before you. Like there's no time for mental health breaks when you have like individual clients. And so I had to find something that I was like, I can't like, and not saying I won't go back to it because like I said, it was the proudest moment of my career, but I had to break away to recenter. But it was the work that I did on Breonna Taylor's case that also gave me an opportunity to even interview for Waystar, because I'll be honest, when you look at my resume, it doesn't bode that here I am, in-house counsel, you know, reviewing, revising, you know, commercial contracts for our growth team or our marketing team. Like it just, I went from public defender to prosecutor to personal injury, civil rights, and then I'm in-house now. I did get an MBA in 2017. So it won't, and I say that I think that I know that the Breonna Taylor case gave me that extra push to even get the interview. And then once I got the interview, I solidified that spot. I went back to school when I was at the prosecutor's office to get an MBA because I was like, I want to go in-house.
I love it.
Sent my resume out. I got an MBA. Like I was working full-time as a prosecutor, doing MBA leadership. I think I was chief of staff while I was getting my MBA too.
Wow.
I graduated with a 3.97 GPA from my MBA program.
Fantastic.
I didn't get an interview to just from corporations, you know, when they opened up their in-house. And so just that name recognition, Waystar is a local company. There was a connection. Someone connected me to the chief people person, and someone who knew me and knew that had been. Now, it was funny because when we talk about branding, I got a text message from a friend. It was like, if you all know any lawyers interested in this position, you know, let me know. And at the bottom, I see the guy that had been like the one that ended up recommending me. He had been like my mentor and kind of advising me on how to make the transition into corporate. I called him. I said, why am I getting a notice about a corporate job from somebody else and not from you? He said, well, you just had Breonna Taylor. Like, I thought that was the lane you were going in. And I was like, well, you know, I could see that. So if you always do have to remind people of and let people know what it is you're looking for and what you want to do, because people will, if you don't let them know, they will assume that you're good or you're taking a different trajectory. So you always have to remind people of.
I mean, that's a mic drop moment. We'll definitely be pulling that out because it's so true. And that people have this perception that, oh, people know. Right. I was at an event last night, and two people who I met came to, we were networking and kind of came towards me, and one person was there, and I assumed they knew each other, which, number one, you should never do that. But number two, when they introduced themselves, they were like I'm, insert name here, and I'm insert name here, and nothing else. And I sat there like, well, what is going on? You're not Madonna and you are not Oprah, so your first names are not going to be enough for this to be a connection, so you can continue and build relationships. And I find that people are, number one, really bad at the information giving, first, but then you have to continue to remind people what you do. People still contact me about coaching, and I'm like, I haven't coached individuals in years. Yes, my hashtag is Coach Paula, because I'm always going to tell you what I think you should do. But the point is that I do speaking and consulting. That's what I've been doing for a good long time now. You have to keep telling people. So, and to that end, I would never have thought that would be the pivot that you were going to be making. And number one, I want to pull back and say to you, thank you, because as a Black woman, as a fellow lawyer, as a community leader, and somebody who is just invested in the world, and thinking about Breonna Taylor's case in particular, I mean, there's so many instances of murders of innocent Black people that we could pull from, but that one in particular for me, because I think about how your home should be a safe space.
Yeah.
And I think about how we are supposed to be protected in spaces that we think are safe and by people who are supposed to protect us. And I can't even fathom, number one, her experience, but the experience of her family and that having been, their child, their sister, they're all of the things.
Yeah.
And so people talk about diversity and inclusion all the time, but justice is what we should be looking for all of us. And so I thank you on behalf of all of us for helping to make sure that justice happened in that case. And I'm glad that you're saying that while you are in-house, that it's still something that's on your mind and something that you still might be able to add your energy to, because I just feel like all of us need to be doing something in that space, and you have actually impacted. And so thank you. And let's get back before I start crying. So, okay. So you've answered sort of a bunch of questions in that I usually
one,
which is the sign of a good leader. You put all the stuff in there. You're like, I got my points and I got the things I want to say. But I want to ask you about this. In all the pivots you talked about, and I don't even think I knew all those pivots, right? In terms of the, going from being, you said,
public defender
to prosecutor, right? Like, which is a pivot that's not the, first of all,
it's the other way. It's normally the other way.
So I'm like, number one, that's something that people don't normally do. They usually go from prosecution to defense, right? Because they know the inside scoop. Then to going and working personal injury, et cetera. And now here, number one, is there anything that you've learned from all of those pivots about yourself, or that you would want to share about making those pivots that you reflect on when you're thinking about the trajectory of branding? But number two, what, if any, mistakes did you make that you think in any of those pivots that you would do differently?
So there are no mistakes that I made. Maybe, well, let me say, maybe, no mistakes, because I feel like everything has led me to where I am. So I can't say any mistakes. Mm-hmm. One thing I've learned about myself, and I think, and I'm going to explain why I went from PDs to prosecutors too.
Yeah.
And I won't even say it's the idealistic, but I'm a person who truly believes that the justice system is supposed to work the way that it's supposed to work. Mm-hmm. So the reason I pivoted from public defender to prosecutors is, in the justice system, when you're talking about representing or prosecuting individuals charged with crimes, so not the large scale, but the individual aspect in each individual case, mm-hmm. prosecutors have the most power to truly effectuate justice. And I don't tell only people that I think who are truly justice minded, mm-hmm. and really have the idealistic view of the justice system. I'm always pushing people like, go be a prosecutor. Everyone's always pushing like, go be a public defender. Mm-hmm. But if you truly, truly want to level the playing field, you can do that as a prosecutor. And we need more people in that space. Mm-hmm. And I say the justice minded because it's not the people who are just like, so I'll give you an example. You'll never hear me say, a police officer who's killed someone should be put to death, because I don't believe in the death penalty. It's just not instituted fairly. So that's a strong, I just don't believe in the death penalty. Mm-hmm. But you'll also never hear me saying, charge them with murder one, mm-hmm. because it's likely not a murder one, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes, my activist friends, they get frustrated with me because I'm like, yeah, that's not the charge. That's not the appropriate charge. I say, and we have to be careful about when we ask for other people to be overcharged, when we're still fighting for Black people to stop being overcharged. And so charge people with what the crime is, right? And then be fair and equitable in the sentencing. Right. So for all of the jobs outside of what I'm doing now, because I'm reading contracts and, protecting my company. I realized that all of them have been the next step of what I can do to make a more equitable justice system. It was only so much I could do at the prosecutor's office as an assistant prosecutor, unless I was going to run for political office.
Right.
Political office is not in my near future. And people always ask me, I'm like, well, why can't I be like other people who become rich first and then run for office? Like, because if you look at the salaries of political candidates,
yeah, they're not getting rich with just a salary. That's correct. Yeah. Right. You gotta write your book first.
Let me make money first so that I don't get swayed by special interest, and like, let me do it the right way.
Fair enough. And I think similar to how they don't pay teachers enough, we pay folks who are doing the good work for the good people more, because they're sacrificing so many other things and not being valued monetarily for it. So I hear you. Okay, so what else in terms of pivots that you learned about yourself?
That you have to be flexible and do what's best for you at any given time. I don't know that I again, being NBA president, I don't know that I would be able to do that. So I told you I pivoted because of the mental health break that I needed, but I also wouldn't be able to be representing tons of clients while also being an effective and impactful president. My job's remote. Like I can travel to New York and speak and work from my hotel room, or, I don't, what drives me nuts? I don't know why we pay for internet on the airplane.
When it doesn't work. Oh.
So I resolved, I'm not like, so I'm never going to do I'll work while I'm on the plane. No, it's either before I leave or after I land. So I try to travel to where I can still, but my job is very supportive. And I do think that if you're going to go in-house or work for a company and you have goals like being NBA president or any external goals, one of the things you have to make sure of is that they are supportive of what it is that you want to do. And so I am lucky that Waystar is very supportive. They recognize the importance of having this strong Black woman that's the president of all the Black lawyers in America.
And Canada.
And Canada and Africa.
Right, exactly.
So they are they're proud to have me, and they highlight that every chance that they get. So
and as well as they should. And I like that you mentioned that sort of alignment that should happen in order to, because I think so many people think I can't do X because of Y. And most of the time I found this as a coach, and I've also seen this for countless of my clients, just period, is that it's not that you can't, is that your limited belief, right, is what is preventing you. And if you ask, there usually is a way, assuming that you, speaking of branding, have been able to either demonstrate your value previous to or at, so that they understand that you are bringing value regardless, in order to be able to do something else and to be able to say, look, it's for this amount of time, I'm going to do these other things, or aligning. And that's also a brand proposition that people should be thinking about. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, when I first started getting very active in the National Bar Association, I was still working at the prosecutor's office. So it wasn't a remote job that I could, but I understood my value to that office. And so I think, like, I go in, I work hard, like, I'm gonna prove myself. Nobody's ever gonna be like, Lonita dropped the ball, when you work for a prosecutor's office, you understand you work for a political office. Like, oh, you need me in your commercial? Yes, I'll be in your commercial. So kind of that give and take, right? Like, I know that I travel at least 4 or 5 times a year, and you're not making me use my vacation time up for NBA, but you're allowing me to participate. Like, know your value. Like, and I do, if you're hard to replace, a job's dang near gonna let you do whatever you ask, so long as you still remain hard to replace.
Right. You make yourself indispensable.
Yep.
I would say you strive for excellence, make yourself indispensable, and then you flex.
Yeah.
Then you can, right? Then you've built up the brand equity to be able to flex however you need to, and people get it. And they're not afraid that if they give you a little bit of leeway, that you're going to stop producing or stop being the value proposition
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So what advice would you give somebody who is thinking about ascending to leadership? Just generally, because you've done it in so many different places. What advice would you give someone?
I think know the organization,
Mhm.
know the people, so like the members and the other personalities. And you have to have, I do think that leaders need a good amount of emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
What do we call that? Emotional IQ?
EQ. Mm-hmm.
EQ?
Yeah.
You have to,
Yeah.
because you deal with a lot of personalities. And you said 3, I think, but I'm gonna give you one more.
Oh, of course. Mm-hmm.
You have to be willing, you get into leadership for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I mean that the right reasons are never to boost your brand,
Mm-hmm.
but it's to enhance the organization with your brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you do that, and if you do it for the organization, your brand will benefit. Like your brand's going to be boosted anyway. It's never a good, I think just in general with anything, it's never a good idea to do it solely with the intent of boosting your brand, because it will backfire on you every time.
Yep. I will just agree with you on that one. My head is nodding vigorously on that one. That's good advice. You started talking about being a dancer, and I know this because I know you, but what else do you do for fun?
Movies. So I have like here our main movie theater is Cinemark. So they have the Cinemark Movie Club.
Mm-hmm.
So me and some of my sorority sisters, aka hey sorors, me and a couple of my sorority sisters, we go and see the movies. I need to text them today, say, hey, can we go see the Air movie? Because I mean, when do you not want to see Viola Davis? So movies, dancing, reading a book, and shameful, I watch reality TV. And not like survival reality TV. I mean like the Real Housewives, the Love and the Hip Hop stuff.
Well, look, it can't be shameful because they're getting good ratings, because you're not alone. There's a whole bunch of people who are watching them. Hilarious. Okay, so everybody who participates on Branding Room Only has asked 2 questions, and one is this. So stand by your brand. What is the authentic aspect of your personal brand that you will never compromise on?
I think just being genuine. Mm-hmm. And I know authentic, it's just being my genuine self with people. Honestly, I have no choice but to be genuine, because if I'm thinking something negative, it's written all over my face anyway. So I think just to be your genuine self, your true, authentic self.
And it makes sense. So I asked the question, and I always think about this in line with branding, because there's usually a line through on everything you do, and it is the authentic piece, but it can show up in a lot of different ways. Like for me, my stand by your brand, I always have to be me, and for that me is I'm gonna have nails and fashion nails, and I'm gonna have red lipstick, but I'm also gonna bring and add value in a way. Like, so it's all of those things, but it's not the same, right? Some people are like, it is that I am always ethical, or or whatever. And so I'd like to hear how people identify essentially the same thing, but just in different.
It is like when you say like me is me, being genuine, it's me. Like you're gonna get all of me. Like I said, you're gonna a lot of people, especially in leadership, a lot of people will tell you how you're supposed to lead, and I get a lot of opinions. I get a lot of responses back, and I've learned to, like, if they don't mean me no good, the ones that are like, okay, I can take that, are truly genuine. But at the end of the day, you can only be you. Can I give you a little story on being you too?
Of course, please.
So our past president, C.K. Hoffler, right? Being a Black female trial attorney, it's not a whole lot of Black female trial attorneys in the plaintiff space, I will say. Like we have them in the law firms, but plaintiff. So we were at one of the NBA conventions, and she was doing a presentation on litigation skills. And like, she just comes in and she like owns the room, and she talks about like what she does in a closing and this. I'm gonna be like her. I can't be CK Hoffler. Only CK Hoffler can be CK Hoffler. Yeah. I'm glad I learned it in a practice trial and not in a real trial.
Yeah.
But it's just like you can see people who you take great things from. Like when I saw her, I'm like, she's a great trial lawyer. So I started thinking of the things that I learned from her. What can I put into my trial techniques? Right? It's not her style. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's I can't close with the Latin phrases because I don't know Latin.
Does she close with Latin phrases?
I don't know in her closing, but when she was NBA president, every time she signed off to a meeting, there was a phrase she would say in Latin. And I'm like, we don't even know if she's saying the right word, but I think she was using the right phrases, but that's her.
Yeah. No, and it's a good point that I'm glad you pulled out, because when it comes to people trying to build their brands, oftentimes they will look at people and say, I want to be like that person. And I always say, yes, exactly what you said, aspects, the things that, right, but make it your own. You can never replicate someone else. And even if you tried, you won't do it well, and people will be able to see right through it.
Yep.
So the second and last thing is, what is your branding room only magic? So this is essentially something about yourself that is unique, special gift, brand proposition that a crowd would gather to experience or see.
I think, little known fact is, I think I'm a funny person. But no, my brand room, like I think I have, so I'm an empath. So I didn't say that earlier. I didn't describe. So I'm an empath. And so because I'm an empath, I need everyone around me to almost feel good or I'm boo-hooing. Mm-hmm. And so I think I have that aspect to bring out the best in people.
I think that is 100% true. You have a positive nature around you generally. And if you are not in a good mood, I know something is wrong otherwise, right? And so you're a good gauge in terms of what is happening generally, which I guess the appropriate answer could have been, I don't want people gathered in the room because I don't want to have to deal with whatever.
Feeling everything. No, I'm just going to try to, like, my thing is like, okay. So, but I was on the phone. I just realized how funny I am. Because I'm like, I'm always making people laugh. Wait, I might need to get on stage. Ricky Anderson, come on, give me a Netflix contract too, please. But no, it's just, I'm not that funny, but I want people to be in a good space. And I understand, not all the time is it the appropriate time to be in a good space. Mm-hmm. But if I can do something to help you get from a bad space to a good space, I'm going to try to do that.
I love that. Okay. So if people want to stay in touch or stay involved with the things that you're involved with, how can they find you?
So look, I'm liking this because I'm only NBA president to August. Mm-hmm. And then I'm back on my Diva Attorney. So I have a website, divaattorney.com. Mm-hmm. I have on Instagram, I am diva_attorney. Twitter, I'm diva_attorney. It's diva attorney everywhere. Mm-hmm. But email, I'm an easy email, lonita.baker@gmail.com.
Awesome. And LinkedIn.
Lonita Baker, but I have my Diva Attorney little logo right there too. So before I decided I was going to run for vice president of NBA, I was like, I'm gonna have this blog and I'm gonna do this. So don't go to it yet, but after August, Diva Attorney will be up and popping.
Well, we look forward to it, and we'll make sure we will link the all of those things in the show notes so that folks can continue to find you.
Do you remember me though? I called you and I was like, I'm getting my headshots done. Do I get my makeup professionally done, or can I just do it myself? And you said, you better go get your makeup professionally.
It's branding.
And I love my headshot. So
it is. It's a good headshot. So Lonita, thank you so much for being here with me today at Branding Room Only. I know that people are going to get a lot from this and hearing the trajectory. I learned so much about you, and I already know you, so I'm happy we had this conversation. And everyone, make sure you like, share, and rate this on your favorite platforms. And I'll see you soon. Remember, stand by your brand. Bye.
Well, as you can see, there's a reason I brought this episode back. Lonita Baker's story, her brand, and her leadership are more relevant than ever. From her work on behalf of Breonna Taylor's family to her historic role as a past president of the National Bar Association, Lonita has used her platform to advocate, to lead, and to make real impact. And that is the kind of brand that lasts. So, as the National Bar Association celebrates a centennial, this conversation reminds us that branding isn't about buzzwords, it's about your value in action. Lonita lives that every single day. So if you found something powerful in this episode, and I know you did, share it with someone else who's building their brand on purpose. And if you haven't yet, please head to ratethispodcast.com/branding to leave a review. It helps more people find their way to Branding Room Only and step into the brand they're meant to lead with. And until next time, stand by your brand. Bye, y'all.